Friends, gather round because we're talking tariffs today. That's right, those pesky little taxes on imported goods. Our main man, President Trump, has decided to slap some hefty tariffs on goods from Mexico, Canada, and China. We're talking 25% on most things from Mexico and Canada, and he doubled the tariffs on Chinese stuff to a whopping 20%. Why? Well, according to the White House, it's all about stopping the flow of fentanyl into the US. Now, I'm not saying that's not a noble goal, but is a trade war really the best way to tackle a drug problem? It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline, but hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy with a TV show. Now you might be thinking, John, those tariffs sound awfully familiar. Didn't we do this song and dance a few years ago? And you'd be right, this isn't Trump's first rodeo with tariffs. He's been tangoing with these countries since he took office, but this time, folks, it's personal. Or at least, that's what it feels like. Maybe he's just bored with Twitter, or maybe he genuinely believes this is the way to make America great again. Whatever the reason, one thing's for sure, these tariffs are going to have consequences. And spoiler alert, they're not going to be pretty. You know what they say? Revenge is a dish best served cold. And trust me, Canada, Mexico, and China are serving up some ice-cold retaliation. China, never one to back down from a trade spat, immediately retaliated with tariffs of their own. They're hitting us where it hurts, folks. Agricultural products, soybeans, corn, pork, you name it, they're slapping tariffs on it, and they're not stopping there. They've also added 15 US companies to their export control list, halted lumber imports, and suspended soybean export permits for 3 US companies. Oh, and did I mention they're launching an anti-dumping investigation into US fiber optic products? It's like they're playing tariff bingo over there, and they're winning. Canada, our friendly neighbor to the north, isn't taking this lying down either. They've announced retaliatory tariffs on 30 billion Canadian dollars worth of US goods, with another 125 billion planned. And just to add insult to injury, the Premier of Ontario threatened to cut off energy supply to the US. I guess those Canadians aren't so polite after all, eh? As for Mexico, well, they're still figuring out their next move, but President Sheinbaum has promised retaliatory tariffs and non-tariff measures. So buckle up, amigos, because things are about to get bumpy. Here's the thing about tariffs, folks, they might sound good in theory, but in practice they tend to hit everyone's wallets. And these new tariffs are no exception. Remember all those things we import from Mexico, Canada, and China? Things like cars, car parts, electronics, fresh produce, you know, the essentials? We'll get ready to pay more for them. That's right, folks, prices are going up. And that's not even the worst of it. These tariffs are also threatening jobs. See, when you make it more expensive to import goods, businesses have to find ways to cut costs. And often that means laying off workers. So not only are we going to be paying more for everything, but there might be fewer jobs to go around. It's a lose-lose situation, really, and to top it all off, these tariffs are going to make inflation even worse. Remember when inflation was all the rage a couple of years ago? Well, get ready for round 2, because it's back, baby. If you thought this tariff tango was over, think again, my friend. President Trump has more moves up his sleeve. He's hinted at even more tariffs on steel, aluminum, and agricultural imports in the coming months. It's like he's playing tariff roulette and we're all just along for the ride. Here's the kicker: Mexico, Canada, and China are kind of a big deal when it comes to US trade. Last year alone, they shipped over $1.4 trillion worth of goods to the US. That's over 40% of all US imports. So, what happens when you start a trade war with 3 of your biggest trading partners? Well, it's not going to be pretty. We're talking higher prices, job losses, and a whole lot of economic uncertainty. And the worst part? This is all happening at a time when the global economy is already on shaky ground. It's like adding fuel to the fire or pouring gasoline on a dumpster fire. Take your pick of metaphors because they're all equally apartment. The bottom line is this: these tariffs are a bad idea. They're gonna hurt American consumers, businesses, and the economy as a whole. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a comedian with a fake news show.